All right. Well, good morning, everybody. We'll let more people in as they come. Welcome. I am Lyric Winnick. I am the PTSA president of BCC. And we have today a special guest, Heather Bradley, because we are trying to help you guys out with some of the email and organizational issues that have come up over the course of the first virtual quarter and are still there for the second virtual quarter. So anyway, please feel free to ask questions in the chat if you have them, and Heather and I can both see that, and we are very happy to have you all here, and hopefully this will be helpful. I'm also recording it, so students who we've missed can join and see it, but Heather has a presentation for us, and she's going to do a great job. We had a really excellent presentation last week for 9th and 10th grade. This has some additional help for juniors and seniors in particular, because you guys are not just dealing with MCPS county, school, and teacher emails and administrator emails, but college emails as well, which is a lot. So we are looking forward to being able to help you with that. So welcome. And I've known Heather for a long time. She and I actually first met when my students were at Somerset Elementary, and she was there as well. Heather has a great resume. She's worked in the Montgomery County Public School System. She's also worked for some independent schools, and she right now works with Capital Learners and works with students all over Montgomery County, and is outstanding on helping guide them with organizational issues and other questions and concerns. So we're very happy to have you today. Thanks, Heather, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here. I know, especially being juniors and seniors, as Lyric was saying, you have a lot going on in terms of not only your current school situation, but also your future. You're in the process right now of applying for schools. I know juniors are in the process of figuring out testing situations and exploring a little bit about where you want to go in a couple of years. So I understand there's a lot going on, and that's why I'm especially thankful to be here to talk to you about your email overload and getting organized for quarter two. You have been in this virtual world now for a while, since March, and I think quarter one was a good way to figure out what worked, what didn't work. You got to get a sense of how much email you are getting and all the platforms you need to check every single day. So that's why I like presenting this now, because I think we're beginning quarter two, and you can use this really as an opportunity to start fresh and to figure out how I'm going to get organized for school and for college. So a little bit about me quickly. As Lyric said, I've known her for a long time. I've been in the Chevy Chase community for a while now, working with students, and now I'm branching elsewhere, working with all grade levels, kindergarten through the college level. And I really do work in the areas we're going to talk about today, which is, it's called executive functioning areas. And that's, how are you organized? How are you planning ahead? How are you studying? And that those areas, quite frankly, I think are as equally as important as the academic areas, because without that, it's really hard to succeed and focus in all your academic areas. I also specialize with anxiety, because as I said with the last presentation, again, if the study skills are off, or the planning or the organization's off, that can also lead to some increased anxiety. So organizing the first parts helps with those levels of anxiety. What I would like to do today is we're going to do a little poll, and you can just think in your mind about the answers that you're going to choose for these categories. But I would like this to be interactive. So if you want to put in the chat room, what your answer is, I'm happy to talk about that a little bit more. But the first thing I want you to think about is this question. Now, this is very tricky because you have so many things that you need to check every single day, and I totally understand that. So where are you with that in terms of, I check all learning platforms and email at least once a day? Do you do that one time a day? Do you check only Canvas once a day? Do you check Synergy once a day, Google Classroom, Gmail, or you're still looking for that system and you don't get to check it every single day? So yeah, so put your answers, and this can be private. I'm not going to, call on any of you. Unless you want me to. It's just a sense of, where are you with that? What do you find are the most important? I'm seeing, some people check Synergy and Canvas one time a day. So that's great. And think about also, what teachers are linked to Google Classroom. Are you checking that? Are you also checking your Gmail? Think about all these different areas. And we'll come back to this in a minute. I just want you to think about the different areas. Give you a couple seconds. Okay. Again, we're going to come back to this, but moving on to the next question. This is a little bit of a different skill than organizing, but it's still equally as important. I am comfortable advocating. I am comfortable advocating for myself and asking my teacher questions. So think about your style in your Zoom classes. Do you ask questions in the classes and through email? Do you ask questions only through email? Or you're not really at a point still, and that's totally okay, where you're comfortable asking questions, that Zoom might feel a little awkward, or you're not quite sure how to craft those emails. Where are you with asking questions and advocating for yourself? So it's not just asking questions, but it's also advocating for yourself if there's a missed grade or something you want to talk to the teacher about. Where's your comfort level in that? Give you a couple more seconds to think about that. And then the last sort of little area I want you to think about has to do with teachers and advocating, but where are you with all the office hours and the help sessions? This is obviously different than what you've had to deal with in the non-virtual world, these office hours. However, it's interesting. I do like this term office hours, because when you go to college next year or in a couple years, it's actually going to be run very similar in college. You're going to have to learn the teacher's office hours, and you're going to have to figure out if you're comfortable attending and what you want to gain from that. So I attend all office hours. I attend most office hours. I attend some office hours, or I do not attend office hours at all. Okay, and we have some attended some, but rarely. Some have never, some have attended some. And we're going to come back to this in a minute too, because I do want to hear your input on the level of help you think that they offer too. Okay, so when you're thinking of just some of, I hate even calling them mistakes, or organizational areas that are very important to remember, and I guess that does come across as mistakes if you're not doing them regularly. But the most important yet obvious mistake is missing important updates. So I want to make sure that everyone here is checking, as annoying as it probably is. It's very important to check all your learning platforms on a regular basis. So if you know that most days you're free around 3 o'clock or whatever time that works for you, set a reminder to check Canvas, to check Synergy, to check your Gmail. That is especially important to check because that's where most of your announcements are coming through. The other one is asking questions. please ask questions in your classes, ask questions today. It's an important skill to have being virtual, because I'm sure if you were in class, you would be able to just go up to your teacher and ask questions and get clarification. So how would you guys, this is kind of an interesting question here, but how would you guys initiate a question in a Zoom class? Are you asking questions live during the class? Are teachers giving opportunities to have Q&A times? Do you feel comfortable if you have a burning question to type it in chat rooms? What are some of the ways that you are asking questions right now? And we're going to get to the email part in a second, but just think about that. If you have a suggestion on how you are asking questions, you can type it in the chat room right now. Just think about that. Okay, the issue with the office hours, I want to check in on this too. If anyone has any feedback in this area, please feel free to type it in the chat. I have found that the students I have that go to the office hours are not just only getting that little bit of extra help, but it also, like I have here, showing up for these office hours can make a really positive impression on the teachers and just shows that extra level of commitment that you want to make in the class. I have also found that some teachers are sharing tips during these sessions, whether there's a quiz coming up or a test. So that's all the more reason to attend these hours. Does anyone have any feedback on the office hours? If you're seeing this too, or if you're seeing something that's a little different, I would love to hear that also. Okay, so that's a little bit about organization in terms of the virtual learning. There's lots of other tidbits that I know you know about organizing for the virtual world that we can talk about and that you can ask questions now or at the end, really anytime. But I want to make sure we definitely get into your email. So let's just do a quick review and make sure everyone's on the same page with the with Gmail. So everyone can see this is an inbox. We have our compose button where you make the emails, your main menu panel. This is especially important for what we're going to talk about today, the labels, because as I'm sure some of you know, you can make different labels based on what you're working with. So the main menu and the labels, this is especially important to help you get organized. Does anyone have any questions about just this general email review? Is there any area that anyone here is confused with? Or do you think you're pretty good in this? This is kind of the basics here. Okay, this I love because I'm still finding that we need a lot of people need some help with just the etiquette of emailing the teacher, and that's totally okay. I feel like I've gotten a lot of emails, even from my older students, where things aren't capitalized, it's not really in email form, and it's just so important that I'm sure I'll bring this up again in the presentation today. For 11th and 12th grade emails, you guys are emailing teachers, but you're also emailing admissions, you're also emailing College Board. So this is really, really critical that, you know, we follow sort of a template of writing an email to these people. So here you have how to email a teacher. Step 1, the subject line. The subject line is just a short 2 to 5 word summary. You know, if you're emailing your teacher, it might be missing work, late work, homework question, online work help. I have a lot of students, I'm sure that you guys have as well, email teachers on like a missing grade or grade question. So that might be in your subject. You always just want to be respectful to anyone you're emailing with good morning, Mr. and Mrs., hello. You don't just want to go into your email. You want to do a greeting first. An explanation, get to the point and explain what you need. I'm emailing because I need help with. Can you please explain? These are good starters for anything that you need to come across. And then finally, a closing is very important. Thank you, best regards. I always say thank you for your time. I think teachers will appreciate that too. And of course, don't forget to sign your name, and please sign your name in, capital first letter. I have a lot of, people that just write their name all lowercase. Let's really, really put an effort into grammar, punctuation. That again just shows respect and that you care, that you're showing effort into what you need some help with. So here's a little template right here that I hope helps you. One of the questions in the last group that we talked a little bit about is, what if your teacher does not respond? And if anyone has a story about this, please share if you've taken different steps. But this is what I generally recommend to students. Send the request again to the teacher. So let's say you're emailing because there's still an assignment that isn't graded and it's really fully affecting your overall grade. So you want to send it again and say, dear Miss Bradley, I'm not sure if you received my previous email, but I just want to make sure you got this assignment. And, really send that email, with your email underneath it that was sent previously. I think that will help. You still don't hear anything from the teacher and you don't feel comfortable to yet again send an email response, contact your grade level counselor. That's their job. I've seen a lot of counselors link with the teacher and just give them a heads up like, hey, so-and-so is trying to get in touch with you. I think that can hopefully help. If for some reason you still don't hear back from anyone and you're in sort of a really critical period where it's end of the quarter two, or you need something, you need transcripts, you need something, you can contact your grade level administrator and let them know and see if they can help anyway. Does anyone have any questions about emailing a teacher, or again, as I said, really emailing anyone? Okay. Now, again, as I had said before, you guys, I want to stress the importance for 9th and 10th grade emails, but you guys really do have an extra importance added to email with all the other people that you're in contact with. So I have, while it's important for teachers, drafting and editing and learning email etiquette is critical for you guys because you're just interacting with so many more people, I'm sure, outside of just BCC. Even right now, I'm sure so many of the seniors here have possibly potentially submitted some applications, and maybe prior to that you were communicating with admissions. Maybe even some 11th graders are communicating already with admissions and figuring out that process. So this is why it's so important to know the etiquette, but to also write a well-worded email, and that can come with drafting and editing. So does anyone here ever do this? Sometimes I suggest consider typing your email first in like a Word document or in a Google document, because then you won't have to feel like, oh my gosh, it might accidentally send and it's not ready. I do this a lot with emails because you can do spelling and grammar checks right there. You can just, see the full view of it a little bit better. So especially when you're feeling a little bit nervous, maybe it's like admission people, you might want to consider starting in Word or Google Docs first. But let's say you do type the email directly in your Gmail. drafts are automatically saved. So if you start an email, you probably noticed this in Gmail, it automatically, after a couple seconds, gets saved as a draft. So that's important because you can always go back to the draft and continue writing if you need to take a break. The thing is, though, be careful, because if you don't go back to the draft, then the draft folder can just get really big, and you have all these extra emails in that folder too. Okay, here is another important aspect. As you enter text, if you have errors, you will see the following changes. So you're going to have a blue line under any area that's going to have incorrect grammar. So that usually comes in big phrases or sentences. And then you're going to have a red line under any misspelled words. So here's a little example of a little spelling error that I had here. And all I would do is just click on it, and it's going to give me options of spelling check. Different words that I can use. Here is an example of some grammar mistakes right here. Again, if I just click on it, it will be able to give me some suggestions on how to fix that. So this is all really important when you are drafting and editing email. Okay, so what we're going to do here is organizing email is the next sort of step I want you to really think about, because it's fine if you are writing these amazing emails and they're very well worded and great grammar. If your email isn't organized, it's going to be a little tricky to find everyone's responses when they write you back. So what I'd love for you to do is take a minute to write down all the different emails you receive each week. And I'm sure it is a lot. Even the emails even if it's too much to think about how much you receive each week, think about all the emails you're receiving each day. I know that you're getting grade notifications, you're getting college emails, admission emails, teacher announcements, BCC general emails, do not reply emails. You're getting a lot of emails. And what a lot of people have actually told me, which is very tricky when you are in 11th and 12th graders, is you're missing certain emails because there's so much overload. So, hopefully we're not missing anything from colleges, but it's important to figure out an email organizational system so that you can prevent missing anything from college. So take a minute, and if there's anything that I did not include, feel free to type it, feel free to say any other emails that you're getting. Okay. So the first step, of course, in organizing your email is deleting the emails you do not need. So a lot of people just keep emails in their inbox, and then they have thousands and thousands and thousands of emails dated back very, very far. I want to help you not have that your system for Q2. So if that means you take 30 minutes to an hour to just dedicate your time to go back to past emails and work on deleting the emails you don't need. I think that you're going to find having a small amount of emails in your inbox is going to help you feel more organized and feel like you can get to your content a lot easier. So it also helps focus. It helps your focus in learning. I brought this up in my last group. If you were sent all this, email in mail format, like physical letters, there's no way you would keep all this mail. So why would you keep thousands and thousands of emails? It's the same sort of thing. When you get junk mail at your house, your parents or you look at it, and you throw it out. I would love for you to have that same process when you look at email. Look at an email, think, do I need this? I already previewed it. Okay, I'm going to delete it. The other part, if you're not going to delete it, that I want you to think about is, let's move this email into a folder. We're going to get that in a minute. So the question you're going to ask yourself when you get an email is, can I delete this? And if you can, delete it. If you can't delete it, you want to keep it for later, think about an email folder that you can put it into. The other thing that I want to make sure everybody knows about is, I put a picture of this right here. I know that we're all getting obviously a ton of Canvas announcements. So I want to make sure if you go to one of your Canvas emails, scroll to the bottom, make sure your notification settings are where you want them to be. Meaning when you click this button on a Canvas email, it's going to lead you to this part right here called notification preferences. You might not be able to see, but at the very top it says you can set emails to notify me right away, send a daily summary, send a weekly summary, or do not send me anything. So there's all these different categories where, let's say you're getting daily notifications of your grades, but you're also checking your grades anyway. You don't really need that daily notification. You could set it to weekly summary if you are already checking your grades. So that's something I really want you to take from this too, to look at your Canvas settings. That can really help eliminate any of your extra email. You can also, this goes with any type of email. There's a lot of things with notifications you can look into. You can unsubscribe to certain emails if you don't want to receive them, if they're just junk mail filling up your inbox. So make sure you are looking at your notifications. Okay. Now, once you have deleted the folder or the emails that you do not need, all your emails you've read, they're deleted, you have a semi-clean inbox. I want you to start thinking of the emails that you can't delete and labeling folders that you can put your emails into. So I had you brainstorm a couple minutes ago about different labels for your email folders. Now I want you to create them. So what you do is look at categories on the left side bar, create a new label, and type in your label title. It will show up on the side, and you can click Move tab into your emails and put into folders. So here you can see the new label right here. And you can see someone here started an email label that has Tuesday, Thursday, classes. This is for a high school. But we're going to get into different kind of label systems that you can start yourself. Now, for Synergy, all you have to do is click the little folder sign up top, and it will again start labels on the left side of your category tab. So that way, any new email you get, you can right click it and archive it into the label that you set up. That's the goal, that every email has a place that it lives and that it exists. Any questions about labels or folders at all? Okay, so here we have some recommended folder labeling systems for 11th and 12th grade. This is going to look differently probably for 11th graders and different for 12th graders. That you guys probably, I wouldn't recommend the same thing, but just a general idea. So first, you want to create email folders for each academic course. So whatever those math you're taking, history course, science course, make an email folder for them so that, again, when you get a math announcement that you don't want to delete, it archives straight into that label, just straight into it. Now, for 11th graders, if you are in the beginning process of identifying colleges, you may want to start just a general label and call it college information. And then everything you get from colleges can just go in that college information label. You just hit archive and put it in that label, that folder. And then later on, as you start narrowing down your colleges and you have your top few favorites, you can then start an email folder for each college where you get any admission information, any sort of information that you don't feel comfortable deleting. You can just put it right in it. So that, again, is probably going to be more in the 12th grade or the summer, this summer coming up too. For 11th grade, drop any information, supplements, financial aid information specific to each school. You just want to put it inside each little folder so that you can find it right away. Now, I bet a lot of 12th graders right now, I'm sure you've narrowed down schools. So again, you're getting more specific information. So if you have a college in mind, you're just going to have that college name and just put everything in it. And finally, down here you can see also you may want to star your most important college emails that indicate something to do or important dates. So let's say you get, you just submitted applications for, for schools in the November deadlines. And now you're getting emails about interviews, or you're getting email about something that you have to do, something you have to fill out. You definitely want to star it, because then that will go in your starred folders so that you can find it easily. And you can also put it in that label of the college too. So it's going to be starred and it's going to be labeled. There's going to be two different ways to find it. I know this is a lot of information, but again, when you create that system to organize all your college emails, it'll make the college process just feel a lot less stressful because you'll be able to find what you're looking for. Any questions about folders in your emails? And then before we get to just general Q&A, there's a couple chats I want to get to. This is stuff I know I'm sure you have already heard. The counselor in me has to reiterate that, especially, I want everyone to have great self-care, but I just know firsthand my 11th and 12th grade clients are especially stressed on top of everything that's going on in the world. You guys are having to organize if you're going to take ACT or SAT, you're applying to colleges. It's just an extra added stress on you guys. So please make sure you are taking care of yourselves. You're getting movement breaks. You are taking care of your eyes with all of the virtual learning and all of the emails you are on. You're getting outside, even though it's windy today. Getting your vitamin D is very, very important. You're, keeping up with social skills, talking to friends, however you can, with everything going on. And then, of course, I want to make sure that there's outlets for stress management. You're exercising, you're listening to music, you're taking advantage of some of the applications that are out there. Some I recommend are Calm, Talkspace, and Headspace if you need that. But I definitely know there's a lot going on right now. So if anyone has any questions just about organizing email, organizing life in general in Q2, talking to teachers, let me know, and I'm happy to help in any way.
what do you think are some of the best ways to utilize office hours? Like if you go or if your teacher, sometimes the teachers are not even all that excited to be in their office hours. So is there kind of a plan that, students can create for utilizing office hours or making them meaningful, especially if they're struggling in a class or maybe some of the material hasn't been that clear, or just even sometimes it's hard to keep the same level of focus and attention in a class. Is there a good way or just to build a relationship with a teacher, especially because for juniors they're going to need recommendations from these teachers and they don't see them in person? So what do you suggest?
Yes, very good question. And that it definitely brings me to another point where I know office hours are probably hard to attend just in general, but I still do suggest come to the office hours with questions. So that means think about during the week when you are doing your homework, when you are doing classwork on your Zooms, to circle any questions that you have that you're not understanding, circle any concept that you just want more help with. And that way, I just feel like the teachers will be impressed if you come to the office hours and you say, oh, I noticed, in Tuesday's class, you were talking about this. Could you just talk a little bit more about it? Could I have some more information about it? Could you give me a practice problem? It's their job to provide more practice for you, but they aren't mind readers in knowing what you don't understand. So tell them what you don't understand and get clarification on that. This probably also would not be the time, though, you would talk to the teachers about like your own missing grades or anything like that. I would save that for either setting up a private conference or through email. But this would be the time which after your week of circling your questions that you don't know, to ask for that extra help. And then, I know it's might be a little intimidating, but I still would recommend to ask the teacher, hey, there's a quiz coming up. Is there anything extra that you think I should be looking at? Or do you have a practice problem right now that you can go over with me? That would help me for the quiz. Any sort of direct extra help questions would be helpful.
Great, thanks. And another thing that most juniors will be doing and seniors are definitely doing now is emailing some of the college admissions representatives for their schools, either to demonstrate interest or to ask specific questions. And what aside from just the great advice for typing your email in like Word or something that's really going to show you that you don't have mistakes in it before you send it, but what are some of the biggest issues with emailing college representatives? Like what are some really important things to keep in mind? Because that is different than emailing within your school and emailing your teachers who you see every day.
Yeah. Yeah, emailing your college representatives it's probably not going to be as short of an email as it will be for your teacher. So when you email your college representatives, they don't know you like your teachers do. So it's important to use the etiquette and say, dear Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, but you want to introduce yourself. My name is Heather Bradley. I'm a senior at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School, and I'm really interested in your school because you want to have that first sentence be a little bit about yourself because they don't know you like your teacher does. I think that is key. You want to also have in your email, if it's a first time introduction, explain why you're not writing your Common App or your essay in your email by any means. So please don't think that, but you just want to provide a little information about why you're interested in this school. And then of course, your ultimate question, are you contacting admissions to receive more information about the school in general? Are you contacting admissions to find more about financial aid? Are you wanting to schedule a tour, or you want to get your ultimate point in at the very end. But after you've said a little bit about yourself and a little bit why you're interested in the school, I find that's helpful. And for the most part, admissions representatives are very, in my experience, easy to talk to, very responsive. That's sort of their job to work with you. So you should hear back from them pretty quickly.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time today, and it's really helpful. And I know for like the juniors and seniors you missed, we will be on. We will have this posted on online so they can catch up. But these were really helpful tips, and yes, I can say that organizing your email does make a huge difference. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the day and have a happy Thanksgiving next week and a safe one. Take
Yeah.
care. Thank you, Heather.
Thanksgiving. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.